Confidently controversial. Confidently controversial. Confidently controversial. Hello.
Okay, that's a weird way to start the
I
podcast.
know.
Okay, hi everybody, and welcome to another episode of Confidently Controversial.
You're so official.
I know, I feel that way. I have a good amount of caffeine in my body right now.
Good. You're buzzing.
I'm buzzing.
I'm buzzing.
That's exactly how I feel.
Okay.
And I'm ready to go, ready to have another episode of this wonderful
I
show
know.
with you, my best friend, Kimberly Tweed, and me, Emily Paul,
Also, best friends.
with you.
Yeah.
So we're here to talk, as those who listen to us know, we talk about movies on this show.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about our life.
Yeah.
We talk about friendship.
Sure. You know, I was thinking something really cheesy about our friendship the other day, and I'm going to tell you it, and you probably won't like that.
Okay.
But I was thinking, like, if one of our greatest accomplishments in life is that we stay friends for a really long time, that would still be a really good life, wouldn't it?
I'm going to cry. Okay, first of all, my mom is crying right now.
No, but I'm serious.
No, I think that's true.
People chalk up so many things to like being accomplished in their lives, and like they put so much on like their work and like their career and like and all this stuff.
And when you say people, you're talking about us sometimes.
Yes, people like us.
Yes.
Yeah, and have put so much pressure on it. But I would say it would be a true accomplishment.
It is a big accomplishment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and a good one.
It is a great one. I mean, I feel our friendship has brought a lot to my life.
What has anyone else done for 30 years? Right?
I mean,
There's very few things that people have done for 30 years.
that's very true.
Yeah, so
We've kept it alive.
Suck it.
Well, you know, it's funny. So we're moving. We're taking the room that used to be my office, and we are transforming it into a bedroom for my oldest son.
Okay.
So he's going to have his own room
Yes.
now. And, well, I guess they're both going to have their own rooms now. But in doing so, I've had to go through all these things to move them into another room. And I was going through a filing cabinet, and I found a file from my wedding. And I found an A to Z list that you wrote me on my wedding day. And it was very funny.
Well, that's good.
It held up.
Right.
It was very good.
Well, that's good. I'm
And I
glad to
appreciate
hear it.
that. Yeah, so our friendship is great.
Yeah.
And we share it with the world through this podcast.
The world.
The world.
Yeah. So what's been going on this week? It's today's Valentine's Day.
Oh my God, it is. Happy Valentine's.
Yeah, happy Valentine's Day to you too. We're in Tennessee right now.
We are in Tennessee right now. We are getting ready to enjoy the silky smooth sounds of Mr. Father John Misty.
That's correct.
My favorite.
Right. Our new thing is Emily tells me a cool city to go to where Father John Misty is playing, and I say, okay, I'll go there.
Yeah, so that's the thing. As I love going to shows, and I really love Father John Misty. So instead of waiting for him to come here, I feel like every time he goes on tour, that's a thing to do.
Sure.
I need things to do.
It's a thing to do. So we're going to Nashville.
Yes, but other things happening. As you know, earlier I guess it was whenever this was done, I was recently bamboozled.
You were?
I was bamboozled when I went to try and run a race.
Oh, yeah.
That
yeah,
wasn't
yeah,
really a race. I still feel the sting of being bamboozled.
Yeah, I mean, what did you anticipate getting from that race?
So I signed up for a 5K, and I anticipated a race where you go and you line up on a line,
Contest.
and
contest of sport.
a contest of sport where you get on the line and someone says on your marks, get set, go. And then
Is
you
it
go
on your marks or on your mark?
on your mark.
Okay.
I always say on your marks. I don't.
You do?
Yeah, because multiple people are getting on their marks.
Okay. Excuse me, sir. There are many of us.
Yeah. Don't just say it to one of
There's
us.
more than one Mark here. Which one are you speaking to?
So I anticipated having a start and running a distance, and then going through a finish line and having someone capture my time.
Okay.
And then finding out who was best.
Oh. And there we have it, folks.
Well, it's really also just you against your own time,
Right.
You know, when you're a distance runner. But the timing is kind of essential to a race. You know what I mean? Like, I don't feel like you
Yeah.
can call something a race.
Well, I think last time you were talking about needing that you were wanting to win some prizes.
I mean, yeah,
Were there
like,
no medals for this one?
you could buy a medal.
You could buy one?
Yeah.
Boo.
I know. It's a money grab. It was a money grab.
Okay.
So anyone out there who likes to run, if you see something advertised from the company, The Best Races, know that it's not actually a race. And I should have dug a little bit deeper because yesterday I did a deep dive on Reddit and I found more people that were like,
Yeah.
oh, what is this?
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, so that happened to me. How about you?
Well, other big news overnight that does not impact me at all because I've never succumbed to the peer pressure. But as of last night, TikTok is gone.
Yes, which might be different when people are listening to this.
Yeah, we don't know what will happen. I mean, we're recording a couple weeks ahead. But as of this moment, everyone's all sad and welcome back to Instagram.
I guess. I mean, here's the thing, because I like the TikTok, as you know.
Yes.
And we have a TikTok.
Many people do.
We have Confidently
I know,
Contro,
I know.
and we have many people that
Right.
have found our podcast through
Yes,
TikTok.
I know.
I feel like, I don't know, I think it's kind of silly to just point out one thing out of all the many different things that are out there. I don't know why that one was villainized. I know that there's a lot of people who have made
Money.
and that's
yeah,
their
yeah.
livelihood has come from that. So I do feel bad for that group and hope that they are they have just as much following on other channels.
Yeah, I think my only concern with them, my only concern was that there was going to be this big government intervention to stop it. And we just, that hasn't happened for anything else.
Right.
And I was really just kind of like, oh, we're going to do it for this.
Right.
And I get it. And, I get the reasons why we would want this avenue for free speech and content creation and creativity and things like that. But at the same time, I was kind of concerned about the resources going towards saving this. And we're not super concerned about other things. But anyway,
No, I agree with that. I think that I think the whole thing's kind of silly. It's something where they feel like the propaganda from China. And I understand that. I do think that social media is impacting, and those algorithms impact people on a much deeper level than anyone really understands.
Do you ever get real paranoid about it? I do.
I always do.
Yeah, you think, you're like, oh my gosh, because I clicked on this and because then I clicked on that and then it's going to feed me this and then it's going to feed me that and then I'm going to get sucked in and
Well, I often
succumb.
What I do is sometimes I'll be going through my feed on Reels or TikTok or whatever, and I'll be like, "Oh no, this is what the algorithm thinks of me,
Right.
Because of what it's sending me." And I'm like, "Oh no, is this who I am?"
Right.
But I don't think it's true.
What is
sometimes.
it? What is it?
A lot of thirst traps.
Oh yeah.
A lot of uber liberal music and stuff.
Music?
Yeah, singers singing things.
Oh.
I get that.
Okay.
But yours is terrifying. I've been on your algorithm, and your algorithm scares the shit out of me.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot of pimple popping
Yeah,
and
a lot of-
gross things.
Yeah, this morning I had one that was a frog infestation that
Oh.
I nearly passed away.
Yeah.
And then I had one yesterday, and it's they know me because I'm like, oh, okay, I want to watch it. It was one of those big, is it called a Komodo dragon?
Oh, yeah.
And they they hung a raw turkey from a string.
Jesus Christ, Kim.
And at first I was like, why am I seeing this? And then I was like, well, I'll watch it.
Yeah, there are things on your algorithm that have made me dry heave and have disturbed my brain to the point where it there are, because I am very sensitive to
Everything.
to visual things
Yeah,
to when it's something gross that you're seeing,
Uh-huh.
and it will stick with me forever. I have only seen one episode of Dr. Pimple Popper,
Yeah.
which you made me watch
Yeah.
at one point,
Yeah.
and I still have those images in my brain, and if they call back up, I have to work to get them out of my head again. And it's the same with some of those things. there was like a point in time on Facebook or even on Instagram where like something weird gets into my feed like that and I see it. I report them because I don't want them coming up in my feed because they are so distressing.
They're
to
like,
me.
but your best friend loves this.
Well, I think that's why they try them out every once in a while. They're like, well, this is obviously her best friend because she texts this person all the time.
Right.
This is what this person loves. So obviously she should love it too.
Yeah, sometimes I seek it out.
I don't understand why.
Like, I'm just like, oh, this is what my brain needs right now.
What is it about that you like?
I don't know.
Oh, it's such a weird part of you.
It is.
I accept it and I
Okay,
love
good.
it because I love you.
That's nice.
But I don't understand. I don't claim to understand it.
Well, you don't have to. You just have to support it.
I do.
I appreciate that.
But let's talk about a movie which hopefully is not disturbing.
No. Well, we'll see.
Oh, God.
Are you ready?
I am so ready.
Woo, woo, woo. So it's Valentine's Day, as I said before.
I was hoping that you picked a Valentine's Day type movie.
I did.
I knew you would.
I went through a lot of thoughts, and this is why I like this, this way of doing the show is because, you can swing and you can swang.
Swang.
and you can kind of make some last minute decisions. And for a while I thought I knew the movie I was going to do. And then all of a sudden I was like, no, I need to do this movie because this movie needs to be on this podcast.
Oh, excellent.
It needs to be on the podcast.
It's crying out.
It is.
Watch
Let me
me.
in. So this is rated PG-13.
Okay.
It came out in 1987.
We were 10 years old.
And I don't like this as a descriptor for this, but I wrote it down because I thought you would hate it.
Okay.
Someone referred to it as Star Wars for girls. And first of all, Star Wars is for girls, whatever.
It is for girls.
And secondly, this has no crossover with Star Wars whatsoever. So I do not understand at all why they would say this, but I was just like, okay, Emily's going to freaking hate that.
I do hate that. Is it like similar genre?
No. This is a romantic drama.
Okay. Does it have multiple like series? Like are there
Nope. Just one.
Okay, so what does it have to do with
Right.
is Harrison Ford in it?
Nope.
God damn it.
I know. There's nothing. Wait, when you hear what it is.
Wait, is there a Wookiee?
No.
Damn it. Okay, tell me more.
So the movie is written by a woman called Eleanor Bergstein. Okay. And she was a mambo queen.
Of course she was. Eleanor Bernstein.
I know, whatever that is. And she was also worked in Arthur Murray's dance studios in college. She is a University of Pennsylvania graduate. And when I looked at her history, she really didn't write very much else. But one of the things she wrote was a screenplay for a movie called It's My Turn with Michael Douglas. And that was a movie that came out in 1980. Michael Douglas and Jill Clayburgh.
I don't know that movie.
No, I don't know it either, but it came out in 1980. But while it was in production, some of the scenes were cut from that movie. So, and Eleanor was like, what the fuck? I like those scenes of this movie. So, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to write a whole movie that's centered around the things that got cut.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So she shopped it around and it got picked up. It was directed by Emile Ardolino.
Emile?
And
is he French or is that Italian?
I think he might be Italian.
Okay.
But he did other movies such as Sister Act.
Great one.
3 Men and a Little Lady.
Oh my God, love it.
Chances Are. He also did Bette Midler's Gypsy.
I don't know that one.
And he did a version of The Nutcracker.
I wonder if he did the one with Macaulay Culkin.
The Nutcracker?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
Okay.
It was filmed in North Carolina and Virginia. And there's a score by John Morris. And this movie has choreography in it.
So there's dancing?
Yes.
Is there singing?
A little bit.
Okay.
It was choreographed by Kenny Ortega. And Kenny Ortega is very famous and prolific in the choreo world.
Okay.
He worked on all the High School Musicals.
Uh-huh.
He worked on Newsies and Hoxpox.
Hoxpox.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
He's also been vital in the creation of other iconic dance scenes in 80s movies, including Xanadu,
Ooh,
St. Elmo's Fire,
Okay.
Pretty in Pink, and Ferris Bueller.
Okay.
He also worked on concert tours and music videos for the likes of Kiss, Olivia Newton-John, Cher, Madonna, Miley Cyrus, and Michael Jackson.
Wow.
He was a dancer that was trained by Gene Kelly.
Oh my God, I was just talking about Gene Kelly last night. Me and my husband talk about Gene Kelly a lot.
Okay.
Because
That's odd, but okay.
well, because he's amazing. And like we're going back to our algorithms.
Yeah.
Because I love Gene Kelly, I get a lot of his like snippets of his dancing
Yeah,
on
yeah.
there. Like I could watch Gene Kelly dance
Yeah,
forever.
yeah, yeah.
He's amazing. Love Gene Kelly.
Well, he trained Kenny Ortega.
oh wow.
Okay. And Kenny Ortega also wrote, directed, and produced This Is It, which is the Michael Jackson documentary that came out after his death.
After his death.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, yes.
So he's been around for a while.
Yeah, yeah. He was born in 1950, though, so he's,
Okay.
you
So
know.
he's his 60s.
Yeah. A lot of the people that were involved with this movie, I believe the director and the writer both passed away.
Okay.
The movie premiered at Cannes in May of 1987 and was released in August of 1987, August 21st, 1987. It went on to gross $214 million worldwide. It was a huge movie. The actors were praised for their roles, and it received a lot of positive reviews. And it was also really well known for its soundtrack. It has an incredible soundtrack.
Is this what I think it is? Is this Dirty Dancing?
Yeah, I bet it is.
Holy crow. Okay. Well, should I tell the people?
Yeah, of course.
I've never seen this movie.
I know.
I mean, I've seen parts of it. I've never seen it from like beginning to end.
Right.
And I know what it's about.
Sure.
And I know the soundtrack extremely well.
She's like the wind.
Oh my God. And it's so funny because when you said swang earlier, I almost said Swayze.
Swayze swang.
Swayze swang.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
Are you excited?
I'm very excited.
I'm excited for you.
This did have to be on the pod. Like, it was just a matter of time. And you picked the exact great time to put it in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's a love story, you know?
I don't know because I've never seen
right.
it.
Oh, God, I'm so excited for you. So, obviously, great soundtrack. It was a multi-platinum album, and it actually won an Academy Award and a Golden Globe for Best Song.
For She's Like the Wind?
No, for I've Had the Time of My Life.
Oh, right. That one. God, that song was everywhere.
Yeah, which I also read in my research that I've Had the Time of My Life is the number 3 song played at funerals.
Stop it.
Can you imagine you're at a funeral and it's like all somber, and then all of a sudden it's like, I can't wait.
Oh, man. If you go first,
Yeah, okay, please do.
it's going to happen.
And I want it to be like in a real serious part, like after everyone's real sad, and then all of a sudden the doors fly open.
But then do you want the whole dance scene? It's like, should I hire dancers to come in?
Oh, that would be nice.
I will.
Okay.
I'll look into it.
Okay. The movie also, I mean, I said it did actually have a sequel. It was called Dirty Dancing Havana Nights, which came out in
yes.
2004. There was a TV show short-lived in 1988. There was a reality show where people could like dirty dance for money, I guess. Stage production, made-for-TV musical. And then I also just read that Jennifer Grey is slated to star in a sequel due to come out in 2025.
Huh. Did they shoot it?
I don't
already?
know.
If it's
I don't-
coming out in 2025, they should have already shot it.
Right. So the movie is based in 1963, and the lead character, Baby, is based on Eileen Bergstein. And her father was a New York doctor, and they would vacation in the Catskills in the summer.
Okay.
The other lead is based on a man called Michael Terrence, and he was an American ballroom dancer. And I guess Eileen, when she was doing research for this movie in 1985, she met him and kind of, they didn't have like a love affair or anything like that, but
Maybe she wanted to.
Yeah, but she was older then. Like this was when she was an adult and doing research for the movie. So she kind of was just like, well, this is the person I'm going to base this on. He had a 60-plus year ballroom dancing career. So, you know, he was just, you know, who she used as her inspiration. Her muse. One of the things that they really wanted when they went to go film this was that I guess Flashdance had come out before this, and what they did a lot in that is cut away. So they used actors who couldn't really dance.
Oh.
And so they did a lot of cutaway shots, so you would see a lot of feet moving.
It was in like silhouette. and
Yeah,
stuff.
and you wouldn't see the actors' faces while they danced. What they wanted was really people who could dance in this movie. So they really wanted to just be authentic and people that actually had the skills to do it. To cast the lead woman in the movie, they thought of people like Winona Ryder, Sarah Jessica Parker, and Sharon Stone, but they ultimately went with 26-year-old Jennifer Grey, and her father was in the movie or in the Broadway show Cabaret.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like he was the original star.
Is
of it.
Joel Grey her dad?
Joel Grey is her dad.
I thought Joel Grey was gay.
He could be,
Okay.
but he's her dad.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. I never knew that.
Yeah. So, and she doesn't really have to know how to dance necessarily because she learns how to dance.
And she's not supposed to be a good dancer.
No,
in this, right?
she's not.
She's
And-
fascinated by the dance.
She's fascinated by the dance, and she learns, as you'll see, she learns how to dance.
Right.
But she was only paid $50,000 for the role.
Oh.
They
How old was she when this came out? do you know?
26.
26. Okay.
Oh no, wait. She was older. She was 26, but she was supposed to be playing like a teenager.
Right.
Patrick Swayze, on the other hand, he was 34, and he was not necessarily the first choice. They had considered like Billy Zane and Val Kilmer to star in it. However, they came across Patrick Swayze, and he seemed like a good fit, except for the fact that on his resume it said no dancing.
Why? He's a trained dancer.
He is a trained dancer. He had a really significant knee injury. And he was trying to just do straight acting because,
His knee.
because of his poor knee. Yeah.
But they pulled him out. They were
They
like,
pulled him out. They were like, get out here. And he agreed to do it.
okay.
Jennifer Grey and Patrick Swayze, like, famously did not get along
Oh, really?
while filming this.
Okay.
Yes. They were in a movie previous to this. I believe it was Roadhouse.
Oh, they were both in Roadhouse?
Is Patrick Swayze in that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, then I believe that was the one. I could be wrong.
Okay.
But they didn't get along on that set and then weren't getting along on this, but they had great chemistry. And who hasn't been there?
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
And like I feel like the world fell in love with both of them.
Oh,
at
yeah,
this
yeah,
time.
yeah.
Like that's really when Patrick Swayze became a
famous.
hugely famous person.
Yes. And Jennifer Grey was not a huge celebrity at the time. I mean, she was in Ferris Bueller as the sister, but that's a very minor part. And I feel like she's one of those characters that you didn't realize it was her until after you saw Dirty Dancing and went back and watched Ferris Bueller.
Right. I feel like because of this movie, and again, I was not allowed to watch this movie.
Sure.
So I never did. Even though everybody I knew had seen this movie,
Yeah.
I was not allowed to watch it. But the things that I remember from it were the style. So right away, those clam digger shorts became like you had to have your jean cutoff shorts with the cuff in the bottom. The little Bobo sneakers were in. And then, of course, the music, not just the soundtrack, but all of that 60s, 50s music became very in. And I think it was around that time. So my mom has an amazing collection of old 45 records.
Oh, right.
So at that time, we became very interested in all those and started listening and discovering all of that music.
Fun.
So, I mean, even though I didn't get to watch the movie, it did impact my life.
Sure. The movie also stars Jerry Orbach. He was famously on Law and Order, but he's actually a trained Broadway actor.
Well, he's the voice of Lumiere
He is
in Beauty and the Beast.
Yes. And then Kelly Bishop, who was a Tony-winning actress for A Chorus Line, best known as Emily Gilmore on the Gilmore Girls.
Okay.
You know her. You'll know her when you see her. She's the mom.
Oh, okay.
They tried to cast Dr. Ruth in this movie. There's an older couple that play like a very minor role in the movie.
Okay.
And they tried to cast Dr. Ruth in that role, but she backed out and was not interested. They also tried to cast Joel Grey as the husband of Dr. Ruth, but it didn't work out. Apparently they only shot for 43 days, but the shooting was kind of plagued by bad weather. It got to be like 120 degrees on set with the heat and the lights and everything, and people were passing out right and left.
God, they actually shot this in the Catskills?
No, they shot it in North Carolina and Virginia.
Oh, okay.
So they shot it more south.
Oh, they should have gone to the Catskills.
I know. And then Patrick Swayze insisted on doing all of his own stunts, all of his own dancing. He actually ended up in the hospital because of his poor knee.
Aww.
And he had to get his knee drained of fluid because he was having such problems with it.
Poor guy.
And then they did have delays, despite it only being 43 days. I guess it was longer than they anticipated. So it started to turn to fall. And they had to like spray paint the leaves green and everything like that to keep it looking like summer. And then there's some water scenes in this movie. And by the time they shot those, which I think somebody messed up, but it was like 40 degrees by the time they shot those. So they were all freezing cold.
Oh, God, I would never. I'd have to quit. I'd be like, I quit. I can't do it.
Yeah. And then, obvious other delays came from Patrick Swayze and Jennifer Grey constantly fighting. Like before every scene, apparently they were facing off, people said.
Jeez Louise.
Yeah. Like they really hated each other.
They should have just made out.
Right. But they made them rewatch their like screen test. Like they sat them down and they were like, you need to watch this. And they watched their screen test where they had that amazing chemistry and the reason they were cast. And apparently that's what encouraged them to put their differences aside.
Why did it say why they didn't like each other?
No, I just guess they just didn't have. Maybe they were too hot for one another.
They just irked each other,
and because he was probably married.
Yeah,
but I don't know. I guess they just irked each other.
Yeah. Well, if he's 34 and you're, 26, it's a big difference.
Sure.
So I could see it.
And then the movie was it was screened by someone in May of 1987, so like right before it came out, and the person basically said, burn the negative and collect the insurance. Like, this is no fucking good. Oh, God. It's terrible. Don't do it. But they redid it, whatever, and put it out. And, it was fine. Everything was good.
Everyone went wild for it.
Right. They did note that marketers had a tough time getting products attached to the film. Originally, like Clearasil wanted to be part of it because it was speaking to teenagers at the time. But there's a very strong scene involving abortion in this movie.
Well, I thought that was a very big part of it.
It is a very big part of it. So
they were probably why I wasn't allowed to watch it.
Yeah, and they were like, you have to cut that scene. And they're like, no, we're going to keep it. So they ended up marketing it themselves. As of today, it has 72% on Rotten Tomatoes. Our buddy Ebert, he gave it a thumbs down.
Did he?
Yeah, he said it has an idiot plot.
I love Ebert so much. I think if we could do we need to do some sort of seance and evoke the spirit of Ebert, because I love that guy.
Yeah, he really just felt it was a tired and predictable plot with two people from different backgrounds,
But I gotta say, what I have to say to you, Ebert, right? I feel like, and a lot of times with these kind of romantic movies, you know what's going to happen, but you want it.
You like it anyway.
That's what you want.
Exactly.
It's like
call me an idiot because I love this plot.
Well, it's funny because we've both seen La La Land,
yes,
which is similarly a lot of dancing in that movie, very more of a musical. But however. They don't get together in the end. Right. And it's so dissatisfying.
It's unsettling and it hurts me, that movie.
I've only seen it once and I loved it. Like
I loved it too. I saw it in the movie theater and I loved it. And then it made me so terribly sad. Mm-hmm. Like really sad.
Yeah, me too.
One of the movies that's made me the saddest in my life.
I was so upset by it. And I can never see it again.
No.
Even though I was so, like, from the second it started and they're dancing on the highway.
Love it.
I was like, I am in.
Ryan Gosling, Emma Stone, what's not to like?
Dancing in the Stars.
So much.
Apparently. So great. Yeah. And then I just hate that.
Yeah.
Give the people what they want.
Right.
I don't go to a movie to see reality.
To be dissatisfied.
I go to, sometimes it's like you just want to be swept away.
That's what you want to live in this idiot plot where everything is happy and works out.
Absolutely. And you dance together at the end.
That's right.
Yes.
Other people call this movie the greatest movie of all time. So there are others. It also gets a lot of props for the way it does handle abortion. Some people call it the gold standard for cinematic portrayal of abortion because it's compassionate and ethical and really speaks to the health concerns surrounding it and just handles it in a very delicate way that gets a thumbs up.
Okay.
It was very popular, one of the highest grossing movies of 1987, the number one video rental of 1988, Dirty Dancing, and it was the first film to sell 1 million copies on VHS.
Wow.
Yeah, still very, very popular. I told you it was the third most popular funeral song. They did actually offer Patrick Swayze $6 million to do a sequel, and he was like, "Nah, I don't really care for sequels."
Good for
And
him.
he declined it. He wasn't interested, which I think is a good call because I don't know, something about non-sequel movies really preserves them.
Yeah, sometimes I feel like people think everything needs a sequel or a prequel, and especially at this time. There's something, when I was in college, I took film history courses.
Yes.
And they talk about different periods of film, of time in film. And I always think about in the future, when they talk about this time period in film, I think they're going to talk a lot about how all the movies being made are being sourced from, like, either sourced from comic books,
Right.
and had to be sequels. It was all about like the money from things, and then taking things that were nostalgic and bringing them back just to suck any last bit of
Right.
money out of it from the nostalgia place. But it just doesn't always work out. It's some things it's just better to let them live and let them be. And then there's plenty of creative people out there
Yeah.
who are thinking of new ideas for movies. Let's focus on them.
Yeah, like Bergstein here.
Yeah, Eileen, the Mambo Queen.
That's right. The Pembroke Resort, where the movie was filmed, they actually still offer Dirty Dancing weekends. I guess 3 weekends of summer, you can go there and do a lot of the stuff that they offer in the film. They also screen the movie and everything like that,
That's
which
fun.
sounds pretty amazing to me.
I mean, let's see how I feel about this, and then we can look into
okay.
it.
Obviously, Patrick Swayze wrote a song for the movie, which is just the most amazing thing ever.
It really is.
They said the set was a really good time. It was a party all the time. They were like constantly having disco parties, and all the people were drinking and dancing and just nonstop fun.
I mean, my recollection of the parts I've seen, it's a lot of young, hot people.
Yeah, I got a lot of young, hot, in shape people who can dance.
Yeah.
And then I just have a couple more things to tell you that I just thought were really fun facts that I came across. One is that Patrick Swayze wore a girdle
Did he?
during the movie to make himself look thinner and younger.
Okay.
And it was actually re-released in 1997. So 10 years after it was released, it was re-released 1997 to the movie theaters based on a petition from Conan O'Brien. And Conan O'Brien had all these people write letters and like send messages and
love
stuff like
Conan.
that to the studio to have it released. It got re-released, and he was like, I don't really like that movie that much anyway.
I love Conan.
Yeah.
He's great.
Yeah. And then one other thing, Jennifer Grey was dating Matthew Broderick at the time that she filmed this movie.
It's incest. They're brother and sister.
That's right. And I guess they were in Ireland right before they started promotion for this movie.
Oh, no.
And they were in a car accident, a head-on car accident. And that car accident killed a mother and daughter.
Yes,
know
that's
about
kind
this?
of that's kind of a famous thing with Matthew. Like, I think it impacted Matthew Broderick
Oh, I'm
a lot.
sure.
Like that's been something that's come up a lot where I think he struggled with
Sure.
it. Yeah,
Sure. So, yeah, that's my facts.
All right, I am so excited.
So you weren't allowed to watch it.
I was not allowed to watch this movie.
I don't remember when I was allowed to watch it, but I do remember the first time I watched it being a little uncomfortable. So it's probably too young. Because definitely, and I just remember being like very captivated by the idea of Dirty Dancing because it was a very new concept, right? Like we really didn't know it was a thing. And then all of a sudden this movie came out and you're like, what is that? I'm only 10. I can barely dance, let alone dirty dance.
Well, I think it was one of those things where I wasn't allowed to watch it, and I really wanted to for a while because
Sure.
it just felt like everybody had seen this movie except for me. And I knew, like I said, I knew all the things with it. I knew the whole soundtrack. I knew the style with it. But then by the time I could watch it, I wasn't interested in watching it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Got it.
So I've run into it on
Yeah.
TV and I've watched
Parts.
of it, and I don't know if I've seen it. I've never watched it all the way through.
Sure.
I've seen big chunks. I've obviously seen the big end scene. I've seen other parts of it, but I really don't think I've ever seen
Right.
it start to finish.
Yeah, I mean, I think you'll like it. I think there's a lot to like about it. I think there's parts that are a little campy for sure. I think there's parts that, obviously hit on very, dramatic subjects and things like that. But then there's also just this. I mean, it's a good love story.
I'm here for a
You know
good
what
love
I mean?
story.
And it's a hot dude. And if this keeps bringing up Patrick Swayze roller skating into my algorithm, I will take it.
Yes, more Swayze. If I could have more Swayze,
Yeah.
that'd be great. So, okay, let's
All
go
right,
do it.
Let's go.
Controversial. Confidently controversial.
Well, I'm different now.
It's the best movie you've seen in your whole life, right?
I can't believe that it's taken me 37 years to see this movie.
I know.
Like, I get it. I get why it was such a big thing. It's just so great. I loved it. I loved everything about it.
I know, right?
I really didn't think I would.
I didn't think you would either, and I was almost like pre-mad at you. Because I was like, she's not going to like it. I know she's not going to like it. And when you were delighted by it and you just loved it, I was so happy. Like, it made my heart happy.
Well, I'm really glad that this was the first time I got to watch it was with you.
Me too.
And it's just great. There's so much great about it. And yeah, it's cheesy in some
Right.
ways, but you know what? It works.
You got to embrace the cheese.
You got to embrace the cheese, but it's not overly
No,
cheesy. I mean,
no.
let's get into it.
Yeah, let's go.
I'm going to go into this conversation with the assumption that everyone but me has seen this movie.
Right. Yeah, of course.
But again, I am a newbie to the whole thing. I just feel like from the beginning, I thought that I was not going to like Jennifer Grey.
Okay.
But I like that in this movie, she's not like classically beautiful.
No.
She's got her curly hair, which,
I think she like famously got a nose job.
She did, and then
after this, and it like kind of ruined her career.
yes, it impacted her
Yeah,
career
yeah, yeah.
definitely.
Right? Quick before you go into it, you said you've seen bits and pieces of it over time? Do you feel like you knew like the whole through story?
Yes, I
Okay.
knew the whole through story. I knew the thing about the abortion. I knew that they kind of fell in love, but I think you really do have to watch it from beginning to end,
Right.
to kind of feel
Feel the feelings.
the feelings. The other thing was, because in the beginning of this movie, they really don't he does not like Jennifer Grey at all.
No.
And it is very apparent that he does not want her around.
Right.
And he's almost over the top, just
Mean to her.
mean to her.
Well, there's a very clear directive from the leadership of the place they go that the entertainment people are not to fraternize with the guests in the way that they maybe sometimes do.
Yes, but I also feel like it is definitely built into his character that he would be that way, because
Yeah.
it's very clear that money, he comes from kind of poorer beginnings. Work is very important to him. Getting this money is very important to him. Having this job, extremely important to him. It seems like core to his character is being someone who's very responsible. His friend, who I guess was someone that he's very close with. He has known her since childhood. He feels responsible for her.
Sure.
Even though he was not the person who got her pregnant, he still takes responsibility for her.
Yeah.
He gets his cousin a job. Like it's honest. It's kind of built into his character that he would be that way, and he would be against her being around.
Right.
Because he doesn't want to lose this job because he feels
Well, he
responsible
needs
for all
the
these
money.
people.
It seems like he's pretty
Yeah.
like job to job,
Right.
season to season.
But I think what switches, the part when he starts to actually like her, is when she gets a little spicy. When she finally isn't just like a guest and she's like a real person.
She shows her personality.
She shows her personality, and then he starts to like her. And then it's just great.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, aside from the fact that this movie is peak Swayze,
Oh my God.
I mean,
Emily was like
Jesus.
exclaiming at certain points, like she couldn't even keep it in. She was like, "Jesus!"
Well, my God.
I know.
There are some points in this movie where it's just, it's
Yeah,
It's
hard
too much.
to look away. You cannot look away.
you can't look away. But yeah, sometimes you have to because it's just too much.
Hurts so bad.
It's too much. Swayze. So much. I mean, he is just very attractive.
Yeah.
And
Peak physical form.
yeah. And I think he likes her because she's a kind person. You know,
Well, that's so like kind of. Do you want to start from the beginning and like kind of go through? I feel like we didn't do that on the last episode, but because there was no real plot to follow.
stop hating on Big Trouble in Little China.
But this movie does have a through line and does have a plot.
Yeah.
And I think that's something like her kindness is why everyone likes her.
Yes.
She's, her dad adores her because she's going to change the world. And they have and she is in tune to what is happening politically and in the world and wants to be in the Peace Corps and wants to change things. And I think that the dad has this very preserved place in his mind for her as his little girl who is just a sweet baby angel.
Yeah, who's just very smart and is going to do this very awesome and smart thing. And especially for the time when this was made, that's different for girls. Like
Yeah.
her sister, who I can't tell if it's her older sister or younger sister,
Older sister.
is more traditionally feminine of that
Yes.
time period. She just wants to find the boy who she's going to marry, who's
and
rich.
went to Harvard and
Yeah, she cares more about her hair and makeup. And
But I also
yeah.
think that's indicative of something that's throughout this movie too is that times are changing, right?
Yes.
So we get that in the two sisters. Baby's a very different kind of girl than Lisa, the sister, because she is going to do something about the problems in the world and go out there and, maybe as a woman that wasn't previously an option and things like that. And, you can see the women are still wearing a lot of traditional outfits, but then you have, you said, the clam diggers and the little sneakers and stuff like that. And I think that's probably early iteration
Sure.
of those looks
of
too.
the hippie thing's going to come in the next few years. Yeah.
Right. But then at the very end of the movie, you have Max Kellerman, the guy that owns this resort, kind of waxing poetic on the end of an era as well. These kids aren't going to want to come here anymore.
Yeah.
This used to be the optimum place for family vacation and for people to come and spend their time, but he can feel already it's different.
Yeah.
And then you have the entertainers who bring in their different kind of dancing and different kind of music. So it's definitely speaking to, that change of time too.
Yeah. And I think that's why this movie works, is because it isn't just a romantic, cheesy thing. There is the characters hold true throughout. It's a solid screenplay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's solid. They build the characters make sense within the world of this film. And it's, it's nothing crazy, but it works.
Right.
And it does go beyond just being a goofy romantic movie.
Right.
There is that drama of the girl who's pregnant and going through the abortion that she does. And even the father, I think that whole scene where she gets her, baby always does the right thing.
Right.
And she did the exact right thing without hesitation. Even when she saw her crying, she went and got the friends to come and help her.
Yeah. And she got the Neil, the grandson or whatever of the resort person away from her so that that she didn't get in trouble.
Yeah. And then when she, after she had, I guess, a botched abortion, she didn't hesitate. She just went and got her dad, who's a doctor.
Or a lot of those people would have never made that decision to do that.
Right. And I do think that the dad character is also interesting in this movie because, again, I think he, without hesitation, helps her out.
Of course.
But at the same time, he's upset. He doesn't want his daughter a part of this. There is that part of him that's well, that's great, except I really don't want you being a part of this thing. And baby kind of calls him on that. And it's well, you raised me to be this person who wants to help people, but are you saying I can't that I shouldn't be
helping
among them.
everyone, and I shouldn't be helping everyone. I should only be helping certain kinds of people.
Right. And I think that causes her dad to kind of reflect a little bit.
And this is I mean, I haven't watched this movie like all the way through like this and really paid attention because I know it so well.
Yeah.
Like I do know this movie very, very well. But so I haven't really watched it. And both of us did get emotional at that part where like she's having that confrontation with her dad at the end.
Yeah.
And the dad gets upset. And we both got a little like crying.
I know. I know. I was like, I can't believe I'm crying. And I will also say at the end of this movie, when they do that dance,
Oh my God.
I mean, I was tearing up. It just gives you all the feels.
Right.
All the feels.
The soundtrack is so good.
It's quality.
And it's just like, and like, it hits at the right time and everything like that. You know what I mean? Like they did a really good job with it. And Emily and I were both saying, we think it was like standard issue for kids in 1987 to get the cassette of this.
You had to.
Yeah, because we all had it. I mean, I know the song Un Poco Loco.
I know all the songs too, because even though I didn't see the movie, my mom did. And
Right.
she liked it.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
we had the cassette tape and we
yeah.
listened to it over and over and over again. So I knew all the songs as well.
Right.
And it's just really great. But we do have to talk for a second about the Patrick Swayze song,
Okay.
which, like, who is this guy?
I know.
He was just in this movie and he was like, you know what? I'm inspired.
Right. I'm going to write a song.
And then he took it to the people. He's like, I don't know how you feel about it, but I wrote this song because I was real inspired by it. And they were like, you know what?
This is beautiful.
This is beautiful.
She is like the wind.
You can't look in her eyes.
She's out of your league. You're just a fool to believe that she has anything, that you have anything she needs or whatever.
I know, but it's beautiful.
Right.
Like, can you imagine the people who like hired this guy? They're like, well, he's a really good dancer
Yeah.
and he's an okay actor.
Right.
And he's so good looking.
Right.
And then he comes to you and he sings you the song that he wrote.
Apparently he also, I looked it up while we were listening to She's Like the Wind. He also wrote 2 other songs for the movie Roadhouse.
Did he perform them?
I guess, I don't know. We'll have to listen to them
We will.
and let you know.
We will.
But yeah, so, and then also, so he's an okay actor. We kind of determined that during when we watched Ghost with him, that he's okay. I mean, he's not the best. But we did also say, too, so he died very young. He had a cancer.
Pancreatic, I think, yeah.
Cancer. And he died when he was only 57 years old. And we were kind of saying that his career really tapered off. He wasn't in too much. He was in Ghost, obviously hugely popular. And
Donnie Darko came out in 2001, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And he was in that. And I remember when he was in that, it was this thing of, well, we haven't seen Patrick Swayze in so long, and now he's in this movie.
Well, it makes you wonder, too. I mean, what year did he die?
Not long after that, I don't think.
So, like, who knows how long he was sick and how long all this stuff, you know, he was having health issues and things. But we were saying he would have probably had one of those Renaissance careers where he was, like, in something else, and like, you know, like the Brendan Fraser redemption story kind of thing where he wins an Oscar, or like the Bruce Willis in Pulp Fiction, you know what I mean? Like where they bring these actors back that haven't done things in a while.
Well, it's funny. I was just listening, speaking of Pulp Fiction, I was listening to Quentin Tarantino talking about his casting of John Travolta in that movie.
John Travolta, yeah.
Because it was very much the same thing of he hadn't been in a lot of things for a while.
It wasn't Bruce Willis, it was John Travolta.
John Travolta.
Sorry.
It's okay.
But Bruce Willis was in it too.
He was in it too. But he was saying that John Travolta was also a dancer.
Yes.
One of these people who he had gotten to be a friend of his.
Right.
And they would walk around, you know, wherever together. And
Tarantino and Travolta.
Quentin Tarantino and John Travolta would. And people would just be so delighted to see him. And Quentin Tarantino was like, I don't understand why this guy isn't getting cast in things. He's a star. Like the
people are attracted to him.
People love him. And I feel like Patrick Swayze was the same kind of person. People loved him.
Yeah, what's not to love?
I know. But I feel like there was never a point in time where it was anything bad with him.
No. He was one of those guys that was like married the whole time he was in Hollywood, I think, and had the same wife.
Same wife.
And seemed to be pretty like, I don't know, did he have children?
He did not have children.
No kids?
No.
Okay. So, he definitely made an impact. And I mean, you can see how and why, even if you watch this movie on mute.
God. He's very handsome to look at, but there's something about him, and maybe it's the dance. It's the passion of the dance.
Sure.
That just gets you every time.
Yeah.
But let's just talk about some other things from this movie. First of all, this movie harkens back to a time when people would go to these resorts up in the Catskills, which the closest experience I've had to that is going to Disney World, which is a lot different though, because there's...
Yeah. It seems to me like these things became cruises.
Yes, probably.
Because it seems you would go to these mountain resorts and they're in the summertime, and I guess that was like their alternative. I guess you would ski in the winter, and in the summer they would have these resorts, right? And they just had all these activities all the time. So dance classes, there was cooking classes. They got to try on wigs.
Obviously.
Right?
I mean, I'd be in for that activity.
Yeah. There was, bunny hopping, and they just badminton and volleyball.
Bunny hopping and badminton.
All kinds of stuff. And it has the end of the year show. And it seems like there was kind of an all-inclusive element to it where you went to the restaurant and you got all these nice foods. So it seems like the cruise of the 60s.
Sure. But 3 weeks?
Yeah, 3 weeks is a long time.
So long to
Right.
be on vacation. And with your family?
Yes, in a cabin in the woods. And I imagine it was real damp and there was no AC.
Yeah, but they do say, so in the beginning, Baby just happens to catch the Max Kellerman, the head of the place, talking to the wait staff, who he says, I've handpicked, hired all of you from Harvard, and part of your job is to show the daughters a good time.
Right.
So get out there, show the daughters a good time.
Yeah,
but then the entertainment staff, who's Johnny and all his friends, it's like, you guys are dirts.
Right, know your place.
Know your place.
You teach them how to dance, and then you go home.
Yeah, you stay away from them.
Right.
You can hook up with the wives, because apparently that's part of Johnny's job too.
Right.
He's a little bit of a man.
Well, we can kind of get into that. But I think that there was, part of the experience was, there's no way these kids are going to come here unless there's love interest and hot guys, or, the daughters aren't going to come.
Think about being that age and going on vacation with your parents.
Right. Oh, yeah. It's like it's the reason kids come down here. It's like the lifeguards on the beach.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Obviously.
Right. Robbie is...
Absolutely. That's exactly what they're saying. But so she's on vacation with her parents, and I have to say, I love the part where she's definitely curious about hanging out with the staff, and Johnny definitely catches her eye because he's so freaking hot in his matador suit dancing on the thing. And so she kind of goes back where you're not supposed to really go, in the staff quarters. But I love that first scene when she's carrying the watermelon and she meets Johnny for the first time, and she's just so awkward, and she's like, I carried a watermelon. I love that.
Yeah, that's iconic.
I know. I feel like that would definitely
it's just
be
very much,
myself.
and it's so real of the way that you act when you're feeling flummoxed like that.
Oh my God.
You're
And when
just
she
like,
first dances with him.
oh, it's so terrible
It's
and awkward.
just
And
so
she does a really
terrible.
good, Jennifer Grey does a really good job in this movie. I would say that she's really good at she's very good at being awkward, and then she's very good at kind of growing up.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like in the beginning, she's very much a little girl who, can't dance and carried a watermelon, is real awkward. And then she kind of, after the whole thing with Penny and Robbie and stuff, she's an adult.
Well,
And she's doing adult things.
adult things. But I forget if you said it in the first part or if we were just talking about it, but kind of famously, she got a nose job after this movie. And she really wasn't in anything after this.
No.
For as big as this movie was, I don't remember her being in anything.
Yeah, I don't know what else she was in either. I think she had things like stops and starts here and there, and I think it would be news because it would be in the tabloids, just because I think of this famous, blunder of doing this thing that would presumably help your career, and probably someone told her to do it.
Well, I've heard her talk about it before.
Yeah.
Like she, I assume trying to do comeback things. I've heard interviews with her, like on 2020 or with Barbara Walters or whatever, talking about it. And she was just like, it was something I wanted to do for myself. I always wanted to do. And I was able to do it. And it made her happy. But, she does look different. Like her face is very, she's got the nose gives her character.
Right.
You know, you take away that nose, there goes the character.
Right.
But you know, I get the whole kind of storyline of her wanting to be accepted by this group of people. And I do think that if part of her character is that she wants to be more aligned with some of the downtrodden, I think that makes sense that she would be kind of pulled to being a part of this other group.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and then you have like the character, you know, like Emily said about all the waiters and stuff like that. And then when, you know, as we find out that Penny gets pregnant, and she got pregnant by Robbie, the waiter, who is also interested in baby's sister, Lisa.
Oh, her awful sister.
Her great but awful sister. And so baby's just kind of like, oh, that's not a big deal. Like, I know Robbie, he's a good guy. He's going to give you the money.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't a problem. And she goes and is just like, you know, let's do this thing, Robbie. You know, you owe her money. You got her pregnant. And he's just kind of like, well, some people count and some people don't.
Yeah.
And starts like getting into the Ayn Rand Fountainhead talk.
Oh yeah, that little Fountainhead dig in there. Did you ever read that book?
No.
Oh, I did.
Okay.
I read it in, I forget when I read it. I think in high school.
Okay.
And it's like that.
Yeah.
It'd be like that with Ayn Rand.
Right. So that's his kind of like POV on the whole thing, is that like, well, so she got pregnant. What do you want me to do about it?
And he also implies, how do you even know it's mine? And she's
a whore. And I did read that they there's a scene where Penny and Baby are in the locker room, kind of like trying on the outfit and everything like that. And they actually went back and put that scene in where Penny tells Baby, like, I don't sleep around.
Yeah.
Like, just kind of, they just wanted to make sure that everyone understood that this, you know, that was the case. Like, she believed that they were in love, they were dating. It wasn't just like a thing. Because I think that, it was probably a good call.
It was
to put it in there.
Yeah, I do think that it should receive those gold stars for the way it handles the abortion. You know, it's not judgmental of her, and it's, you know, it kind of shows the reason why people need to have that option sometimes.
Right.
You know, and that people aren't terrible, you know, because of it. But you know, I think it's also interesting with. They're trying to set Baby up with is it the son or the nephew? Grandson
of Max Kellerman.
Yes, who is also studying to be a hotel person. And he is such an asshole.
Yes.
Like, he's just trying to be like the boss and to be a big guy, big shot in front of her. And she's hanging out with him. But you made the point, because I was like, why would she hang out with him? But as you said, like, what else is she going to do?
Yeah. Yeah, imagine if you were at someplace like that for 3 weeks. How many wigs could you try on?
Right. And it's kind of like expected. Like, okay, I'll hang out with this guy.
Right. And it seems like her dad is Max Kellerman's doctor.
Right.
So Mr. Kellerman has done them a favor by bringing them to this resort. It seems like they're probably being comped or something like that. So, you know, he gives them the best cabin. So there is that expectation of, you know,
I'm going to give you the best guy, too.
Right,
This is the best guy we got.
Yeah,
my grandson.
Exactly.
Go hook up with him. Yeah, and I mean, when she starts dancing with him, so then a pivotal thing is, because Penny has to get the abortion, and it can only be on a certain day,
right?
Because the doctor's only going to be in town this one day.
Sure.
They need someone to take her spot with Johnny dancing at this other hotel.
The
Sheldrake.
And
so she has like a week to basically become a professional dancer, and they do establish early on that she cannot dance.
Correct.
So going from you cannot dance at all to doing this thing. And it's funny because I thought that just doesn't seem possible that you could get anywhere close. But then I thought of the show that I'd mentioned before, which is the Dancing with the Stars.
That's exactly what
which is exactly what it is. Where it's like, I'm not a dancer at all, but I got a professional dancer, and we're going to train you the best we can. And some of those people do really, really well.
Yeah, of course.
And I think it's more true to life that she's not perfect when she goes through this thing.
Yeah, I like that they do that. She misses the lift, and, you know, she fumbles a little bit and she turns the wrong way because, you know, nerves and everything, and it would have never been absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
It's
and
real.
I think it sets you up for the end when she does it.
When she does
so
it.
Good.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
Exactly.
That's what I mean. This is such a well-crafted... It is. It's well-crafted. Like, you can't say that this movie... you could say it's cheesy. You could say that some of the acting is a little wooden.
Yeah.
But it's a solid script. It's a solid movie. It works.
Yeah, and it would have been very easy, I think, for them to just like focus on the one storyline of dancing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, but they do like branch out, and there's a lot of different parts. I also, when we were watching it and we were leading up to the part, I'm just like, well, wait, there's all these other good dancers around. Why wouldn't they just have one of them do it? But then they do explain why they can't.
That's what I mean.
And I was like, oh, good, they do. Like, they took care of that.
That's what I mean. Everything is solid. Like, everything. So I go back to my learning how to write a script days.
Sure.
But a lot of what they talk about when you're learning how to write scripts is everything has to be it can't just be and this. It has to be because of this, of course this.
Right.
Everything has to make sense. And there can't be like a ton of exposition, but the characters have to stay true to who they are throughout the movie so that it makes sense that all the things are happening. And I think in this movie, the characters live in that world and they all make sense. Like everything they do, every action they take makes sense based on who they are.
Right.
You know? And I think even Johnny, I felt like, well, why would he let go of, fraternizing? Like, what would be the thing that would make him, break his own rule of fraternizing with one of the guests? But I think because he sees what she does with Penny, I think that's part of it. Like, he's like, oh, wow, like, I've never met a person who's a real human being
right.
and who is so kind. And she's worth me kind of breaking my own rule
worth
for.
the risk.
She is.
Well, they address the fact that Johnny there's very much an expectation, while he's not meant to fraternize with the daughters, it's probably okay that he
fraternizes with the sons.
No. There were no sons. But that he gets down with the wives.
Oh, yeah.
Because it seems like a lot of couples come there and the men play poker all night long, and it leaves a lot of bored wives, and the husbands go home during the week and the wives stay behind. And it seems like some of them have, found relationships through dance classes.
Yeah, they have.
And we see that, and Johnny very much laments that to Baby, like, they're throwing this money at me. What am I supposed to do? You know what I mean? Like,
well,
I had to have sex with them. I don't know what you want me to say.
But he also kind of says, I at first thought, wow, like
they like me.
They like me, and these are really rich, fancy ladies, and they
see value in me.
Yeah, they see value in me, and so I'm gonna have sex with them. But then he learns that they don't care. He's just a piece of hot
dance ass.
Yeah, dance ass.
Yeah.
Which I mean,
I get it.
I totally get it.
Yeah.
But yeah, just like I said, I didn't think that I was going to like it. One of the things that I thought about a lot throughout it was how you were saying that they didn't get along,
right?
And they are real, like, antagonistic with each other in the beginning half of this movie,
right?
But then it does flip, and they do have good chemistry together.
They do, and I think too. Jennifer Grey is very natural, like the way that she kind of laughs in her acting. You know what I mean? Like she finds him funny and silly, and she laughs like ha ha ha. Like that is very endearing too, and that makes you really believe that they like each other.
It does. Well, because also she laughs when things are a little serious. When they're dancing, and I get that.
And that's real life.
It is real life. Happens. You would dance if someone was being too serious.
Yeah.
Although I did want to ask you. So there's a part in this movie. Where not when they're doing dance classes, just when they're like fraternizing,
whatever.
Say
getting it on.
They're getting it on. They dance alone together. Has that ever happened to you? Have you ever danced alone with someone? Not at a dance?
Danced alone with someone?
Yeah. Has a boy ever been like, dance with me, Kim?
I mean, not like to a full song, like not a full slow dance, but like a little like funny dance. Yeah.
A little funny dance.
Yeah, do 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 do.
Okay.
I think that was Light My Fire. Oh no, it was Touch Me, Babe.
Oh, it comes back to Jim Morrison. Oh man, how sexy.
Yeah.
Wow, You really make those moments real, huh?
Right.
The boys are probably like, okay.
Has anyone ever been like, Emily, listen to my heartbeat? Gaga. Gaga.
I could never handle a moment like that.
No, but
If
that's why I
someone
think it's
did,
real too, because
I would just be like, what are you doing?
don't you gaga me. How dare you?
I would just start laughing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Mhm.
Yeah, it's too much.
Yeah.
It's too much. Well, I mean, this was great.
Okay, good.
I have to tell you, thank you.
You're welcome.
Because I never would have watched it.
I'm glad you're happy.
I'm really
I'm
happy.
happy.
Thank you. Thank you for bringing this into my world.
All right, should we find out how this movie connects to the one and only Mr. Kurt Russell?
I'm very excited for that.
Alrighty.
Let's do it.
All right, I need to consult my phone.
Okay, let's do it.
But I like this one because I didn't go the traditional route. I didn't go the main character route.
You didn't go Swayze.
I didn't go Swayze.
Okay.
I went with the mom,
Okay.
Kelly Bishop,
Okay.
baby's mom in this. I mentioned earlier she is Emily Gilmore. And I know you didn't watch the Gilmore Girls either, but I love the Gilmore Girls, one of my favorite shows. In the Gilmore Girls, Gilmore Girls, her husband is Edward Herman. He's an actor,
Okay.
and they are Emily and Richard Gilmore.
Okay.
And Edward Herman is the dad or the husband in Overboard
Oh, yay!
with Kurt Russell.
Oh my God! I'm glad that he's in it. I
Yeah.
do like him.
Yeah,
I like
yeah,
his
yeah.
character a lot in Overboard.
Overboard, yeah.
Oh,
So,
yay.
that's the connection.
All right. Well, good. This was a great day.
Yeah, what a good time. Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy
Do you feel
Val-
more ready to love?
I think everybody should celebrate Valentine's Day by going to watching this movie with
They should.
with your special guy or gal.
What do we have to say to the people?
We have to say, I guess maybe you can see us on TikTok at this point in time, but probably
Who knows?
not. Probably not. So you should go to the Instagram and find us. We are at Confidently Controversial.
Yes, we are.
On Instagram. We're also on YouTube at Confidently Controversial. We have a website, controversial.com,
Yeah.
that you should go to as well.
Correct.
We have merch on our website.
That's right.
Which I really feel like we need a Dirty Dancing
I
themed merch.
agree. You're
Is
wearing
that
one of our
font?
shirts today.
I am wearing one of our shirts. This is my favorite shirt. So
I
this
love
is-
that shirt.
So this shirt has the little girl from Mommy Dearest on it.
Yes.
And I love it so much.
too. It's
I
my
wear it a
favorite.
lot.
So yeah, check out the merch if you want to buy something. You can also get a cozy sweatshirt because it's a little chilly outside.
Or a cap.
Or a cap.
Yes.
But yeah, we appreciate that you are listening to us and we're appreciating that you're back for season 3. And what else? If you are...
Oh, we didn't do this last
Yeah,
time.
no.
We forgot. Oh my gosh.
yeah.
So if you are on vacation with your parents.
Right.
And you see a hot guy. Be confident to be yourself
Yeah.
and go get that guy.
Yeah. And maybe check out the age gap. We didn't really get into that in this.
We're not gonna.
And we're not going to talk about it because that would probably ruin the whole thing. But it was a different time.
It was a different time.
So yeah. So what Emily's saying is go for it.
Just go for it. But
But don't
be controversial, and if the age gap is a little too much, you might want to rethink
Pump
your
the brakes.
plans.
It'll make you feel weird. Trust me.
All right, well, we love you guys, and happy Valentine's Day.
Bye.